Hello, everybody. I'm a practicing therapist and a doctoral student of psychology. Today, I want to talk about a topic we've already discussed a little bit, but it's something that you guys, I still don't think you guys are fully understanding this, which is why I just wanted to make this video again and really reintroduce this and hopefully add more clarification so you guys can understand what I'm talking about, because it seems like there was a little bit of a miscommunication about some of these things. So I wanted to help you. What is a common dynamic is that avoidants, when they're triggered, they leave. And their triggers are really easily triggered. And so if that doesn't happen even a little bit, this is actually a sign that the avoidant is committed to you. It sounds very backwards, but it is truly part of the dynamic. And so basically, if an avoidant lets you get away with some of these behaviors, it's a good sign that signifies you are the person that they have an emotional connection and they love you. It's really important to realize that, because avoidants don't really let people in. They don't let pretty much anybody in. That includes their family. That includes, like, when I mean their family, I mean their mom and their dad, their siblings, colleagues. And a lot of people don't really know who they really are. And a lot of avoidants, you'll see that they're very, like, they work a lot. You guys know that, right? Anytime we've had calls, I've had calls with you guys, a lot of you guys know how specific they are, how rigid they are with timing, how much they work, how much effort they put in their job. Maybe they're always doing like business trips. They're always focusing on their career. And they have a lot of things going for them in their mind. They don't really think about love and relationships that much. And so if anything is burdensome to them, they have no problem cutting that off because they're afraid that may interrupt some of their lifestyle to some extent. And so if you still have some of these behaviors, whether they're good or bad, we're not really discussing that at that point. It's a sign that they don't feel like getting rid of you or discarding you or whatever you guys call it, breaking up. They don't feel like breaking up is beneficial because you being in their life is more beneficial to them. They look at it logistically, but that is also romantically for them as well. The love that they feel for you is more important than some of the logistics about their life. And so basically, behaviors that would normally trigger them to leave is now something they are tolerating or getting comfortable with because they love you. And so I'm going to give some examples. We've touched on all of these examples, but my goal for this video is to clarify why these things are important. When you accuse them of doing something they did not do, this is incredibly insulting to avoidants. It is insulting. It's disrespectful. But the difference is it's not insulting or disrespectful when it comes from you. And I'm not even trying to make you sound special, even though you are special. That's kind of the point. I'm not making this up to make you feel better. It's true. And I really want you to understand this because it's hard to understand if you're not an avoidant. But if you are, you'll get it really easily. When you accuse them of something they didn't do, it's a huge trigger. Avoidants don't like this, but they're willing to some extent to hear you out or maybe entertain whatever is bothering you because they don't want to push you away. The immediate response for an avoidant when someone does this is to basically distance that person from them immediately, like push them away as far as possible, okay? And that's not what they're doing. If anything, they are trying to explain themselves. I didn't do that. Why do you keep saying that? They might even say something kind of not so nice to you. You worry too much. You're so anxious. Why would I ever do that? Or they might be very strict and almost shut down and say, no, I didn't do that. I promise. Some might even be, if they're a little bit more of the aggressive type, they might say, no, I didn't do that. How could you say that? Here's the proof. And they might show all the proof. And this is not a bad thing, even though it's probably there's a better way to communicate for sure. But the reason why I bring that up is because in actuality, they are trying to meet you in the middle in their own version because they're trying to say, don't accuse me of that. Let's find a middle ground. I don't like this feeling and I don't like this feeling interrupting our love or our peace or whatever it is. But that doesn't mean they're breaking up with you. That's what they normally do. They're not breaking up with you. In fact, they're letting you get away with it. That's the point of this video. The next one is you text them in high frequency during a stressful moment. You know what I mean? Like blowing up their phone, right? They may still ask you to fix this. If anything, that's a good sign if they tell you to fix it. But they move on from it overall because what really happens is regardless of how much you trigger them, because I'm telling you, you trigger them, they didn't really leave. Or if they left, they come back and they apologize. And the interesting part is if anyone has operated with an avoidant from a career standpoint, they don't tolerate these things really at all. If it's a business colleague or whatever it is, they may say, don't do that. Next time you do that, we are cutting this business relationship off. That is not how you communicate with me. Do not disrespect me. They're very used to kind of commanding their room and their lifestyle. But with you, they kind of just, sometimes they're upset at you. They might be distant and they might just come back. They might say, don't text me. I don't appreciate that. Wait until I'm done. My meeting's done at this time. I will call you. And all of those things are signs that you are the person that they care about and love, because they have invested further with you than they do with anybody else. They don't tolerate this type of stuff. And a lot of you guys know that, because you see how they are with other people. Avoidants are like really, really strict with time, with how you're supposed to communicate. You can't text at this time before bed. You can't eat this amount of hours before. Really controlling, to be honest. And this is something that's very out of their control. And yet they still are more lenient with you, which really shows commitment, actually. The next one is, if you have a lengthy discussion, I'm not saying you should do this, and actually I wouldn't recommend it, but every now and again, we're all human. We do it, okay? If you have a lengthy argument or discussion, I'm going to say like over 45 minutes, over an hour, and they are still with you. I know it sounds so strange, but they really care about you. Avoidants don't like lengthy discussions. They're overwhelming. They trigger them in a lot of ways, and I'm going to explain a lot of those ways. Fear of failure. If they cannot communicate as quickly, process as emotionally as you can, they feel like a failure. They might not tell you, but they do. So they felt that fear of failure. Maybe you're, I don't know, mad at them for something they did wrong. Okay, so now they're a failure and they can't please you. So now another trigger. They're not good enough for you. They're not good enough for relationships. You might be asking for something that they're not ready to give you, and they feel like they can't meet your needs. And so now they are a bad boyfriend or girlfriend. And so there's so many triggers within this argument. However, they're still there, because what avoidants do if they are not appreciated enough in a work setting, with their family, even friendships, they leave. Because they almost feel like, I don't care that much for relationships and love. And so what's really the point in tolerating something that makes me uncomfortable? It is a very selfish perspective, but it is the way they are. And I'm not going to lie to you. However, if they tolerate having lengthy discussions, especially if you guys have it often, I'm not saying that's a healthy thing, but it's true. They're putting a lot of investment in you. I know it doesn't seem like it, but it really is true. The next one is looking through their phone. I've told you guys this before. Now, female avoidants don't really like this in general, and it's not because they're hiding something. Female avoidants take it as, you don't trust me. Female avoidants, a lot of them have like fear of being controlled, and like sometimes they have been really controlled in like a way where they feel like it's physically dangerous for them. And so they're not saying, I'm afraid that, like, they're not hiding something. They're just afraid that you might that you're going to control every aspect of their life to the point where they might be hurt. And so female avoidants don't really react like this. Like, even if you're married, female avoidants are just really scared about that. They might feel like you don't like them, you don't trust them, you don't believe in them. But male avoidants, some of them are just like, yeah, look right through my phone. Like, they might be mad about it, but they'll be like, yeah, fine, look through everything. I don't care. You should trust me. Female avoidants, they get that way eventually, but it takes a lot longer because of that fear that they have, especially if you are a male partner, because of that power dynamic gender-wise. I know people don't like to admit that, but it is true. Especially with anxious, preoccupied men, you have to think about it. You guys are feeling anxious and crashing out, but to her, your voice is lower. You're typically larger gentlemen, because men are typically larger. It just is a scary feeling. And so that could be why she's afraid of that one. The next one is, if you say something negative about them and they still kind of tolerate that, that is a sign that they like you, they care about you, they love you. You're probably the one for them. And when I mean negative, it could be like a mean word. You, of course, will apologize, but they didn't break up with you. They might shut down, they might be irritated, but they're still here. And so we'll wrap it up. Let's summarize and we'll wrap it up. Accusing them of doing something they didn't do, texting in high frequency, having a lengthy argument, looking through their phone, or saying something negative about them. I hope this video is helpful to somebody. Please like, subscribe. I will see you in the next one.